Pop culture toys of the 80s. Check out the video description below for a link to see all the 80s nostalgic toys. The 80s is the era of blockbuster movies and the emergence of popular TV networks like MTV. It was also in the 80s when some of the coolest toys were introduced to the world. Masters of the Universe. The Masters of the Universe, or the He-Man, or the She-Ra series. Mattel and partner companies created action figures, books, comics, and more based on the series. Transformers. Another very popular franchise that was created in the 80s is Transformers, which features robots that can transform from cars, animals, and other objects to humanoids. Transformers are divided into different generations, and the one created in the 80s was Generation 1. Nintendo Entertainment System. The game console that saved the video game industry during the 80s was the Nintendo Entertainment System, also known as NES. The NES was an 8-bit video game console that was produced by Nintendo and was first released in Japan in 1983 under a different name, Family Computer or Famicom. Cabbage Patch Kids. The Cabbage Patch Kids are dolls that have a cloth torso and plastic legs, arms, and heads. These dolls have customizable outfits to make them unique. The first Cabbage Patch Kids dolls were sold in 1982, and by 1984, Coleco was able to generate about $2 billion in retail sales thanks to the popularity of the dolls. Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube was invented by Erno Rubik, a Hungarian professor of architecture and a sculptor. The cube was designed to help students understand 3D objects. In March 1981, a speedcubing tournament was held in Munich and was organized by the Guinness Book of World Records. My Little Pony. My Little Pony, first known as My Pretty Pony in 1981, was the creation of sculptor Charles Munchinger and illustrator Bonnie Zackel. The first generation of My Little Pony was produced and sold from 1982 to 1992. Care Bears. Care Bears are teddy bears that were originally created by artist Elena Kucharik. They were featured in greeting cards sold by the American Greetings Corporation. In September 1982, the Care Bears franchise was launched and became one of the best-selling toy franchises in the 1980s. Lite-Brite. Lite-Brite is an interesting toy that was originally marketed in the late 1960s, but only became very popular in the 1980s. Lite-Brite was invented by Joseph Burke, Bert Meyer, and Dahlia Verbekers, who were all designers for the Chicago-based toy and design company called Marvin Glass & Associates. Don't forget to check out the description below for a link to see all the great 80s nostalgic toys.